My factory game's logistics system sucked. That's why I worked on completely revamping the logistics system in my factory game, as well as adding a bunch of new things and fixing a lot of bugs. Before I continue, I'd just like to mention that this video was supposed to be edited and uploaded in July last year. I've been really busy, but I've also got myself to blame because a lot of my free time has been spent playing games rather than making them. My consistency should pick up again from here though. Back to the video now. If you're new here, Galactory is a Factorio-inspired factory building game, with extra focus on science, magic, and space exploration. This month was particularly slow, since I was quite busy, and also because I participated in the GMTK Game Jam. I won't make a video on that, but I'll leave a link to the game in the description in case you want to check it out. Anyway, enough blabbering. This month I worked on pretty much entirely revamping my underworld item system from the ground up, since, to be honest, before it was way too overpowered. The way it originally worked is there was an item pump which pushed items into the underworld storage, where an infinite amount of items could be stored. Then, another building called item siphons would be able to pull items from this infinite storage at the exact same constant speed, no matter where they were placed in relation to the pumps. In other words, you could teleport any item across the entire factory instantaneously, which, if you ask me, it was a bit too overpowered. So, I brainstormed ways to fix this, and particularly liked the idea that there were little lightning robots, which are temporarily called Zaploids, unless I keep the name, which through the use of a network system, can pick up items from buildings and carry them around the place, very similar to Factorio's robot system, if you're familiar with that. This approach would make it so items won't teleport around the place instantaneously, which is what I was going for. To start, I had to make what I call network tiles. Basically, just tiles that when their radii, these little bounding boxes, are touching, they join and become one, allowing me to access one building inside the bounds of the network from any part of the whole network. I spent about a week on and off making this system, because every time I went to writing it, I kept running into theory roadblocks, which in my case were performance roadblocks, where I needed to find a way to do things that wasn't incredibly unperformant and inefficient. After finally finishing the network tiles, the next step in the system was actually having storage buildings inside of the network. Instead of the pumps pumping items into infinite storage, they pump items into physical storage buildings, which I quite preferred. Conceptually, to fit the theme of the game, the storage buildings are actually just drills that make big holes underground where the items are stored, so the storage buildings don't hold the items inside of them. The main point of the physical building remaining there is to act as a pathway for the robots to access the storage, which I think is quite cool. I then began working on the robot bases. You put robots into it, and when items are requested by buildings in the network, it will dispatch robots to fly over to storage buildings in the network containing the item, grab the requested item, then take it to the building that requested it. To finalize the revamp, I added a second robot type, construction robots. These little guys fetch buildings from storage to place down any ghosts that may be marked on the map. These guys are super useful when your factory is huge and you build everything using robots and blueprints. That logistics system rewrite sounds super simple, because it is, but it still took me about 3 weeks to actually implement, and I'm happy enough with it to be honest. Later on in July, I added meteors to the game. Or, well, sort of. I added a new building called the Meteor Capsule Launcher, which takes in a meteor capsule and then sends it off into space to attach itself to a meteor, take out a chunk, and fly it down safely back to the launcher. To actually access the meteorite shards, you would have to place a crusher directly beside the Meteor Capsule Launcher, which would pick up the capsule from the launcher, crush it, and the meteor, and spit out a certain amount of meteor shards depending on how big the meteor piece was. I also began work on the bio sector of the game. I haven't shared this yet, but my plan for the game is to have 4, maybe more, sectors, with the bio sector being the first. I'm not entirely sure what the other sectors will be yet, but I'm sure the first one in terms of progression will be the bio sector. What I've made so far is a simple tree grower. It takes a sapling and grows it after a certain amount of time. After this, you have 2 options. If you leave the tree in the grower, it will occasionally drop saplings so there's a renewable source of them. Otherwise, you can place down a tree chopper by the side of the tree, and it will cut down the tree to get the wood once it has grown. I've not worked on any other parts of the biosector yet, but I'm happy with what I've got so far. The months following this devlog up until now were really slow, but I should be picking back up the pace with a March 2026 devlog, which should release at the beginning of April. A little sneak peek into the future, I'm currently working on developing the underworld for the game, which will be the main combat area. There's not much to see so far, but hopefully in a month's time, it'll be pretty. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you again in a month's time.